Top of the morning. It's me, your lad. Welcome back. So with 1.18 having released last month, the Caves and Cliffs saga, it's officially over. Brand new year, brand new us. Brand new year, brand new game. In 2022, a handful of new updates will be coming to Minecraft. There is a chance, however, that more than just one handful, like maybe two handfuls of updates will be coming to the game. In this video, we're going to take a look at updates that might be coming to the game in 2022. So you know how it goes around here. Leave a like, comment something down below. If you're new here, subscribe for videos like this all the time. Links are in the description, check them out, and enjoy the list. Okay, picture this. It's you, your brain. This is absolutely swelling. It's just huge, really heavy at this point. Your top is at the top tier as well. You watch a lot of the content that I drop. If that's you, then some of the things that we're going to talk about in this video might be a little bit familiar to you, but I don't think I've ever made a single video talking about all of these things, and there are definitely some new ones here as well. Let's start things off nice and easily, and also insanely obviously, with the one that you definitely have all heard about by now. In 2022, the 1.19 update will come to the game, if everything goes right. So last year at Minecraft Live, the Wild update was revealed. In the Wild update, we'll be getting at least a Swamp update and a Deep Dark update. We might end up seeing more updates to other biomes, like the Birch Forest, that could be pretty cool. But right now, we know about the Swamp and the Deep Dark for sure. Inside of the Swamp, there'll be brand new wood type, there'll be a brand new variant of the Swamp, we'll have frogs, it's going to be really cool. In the Deep Dark, finally, at long last, we will see the Warden, the Skulk Blocks, and Ancient Cities. Truthfully, if we wanted to, we could break the Wild update into individual features and get the number of this video up to like 50 or something, but we're not going to do that. There's a separate video for the Wild update, card on screen right now. Check it out after this one if you want. Most Minecraft features that are in the game are, completed features, finished. That's why they're in the game. When it comes to features in the game that are skeletons of what they will eventually be, the Fletching table. I don't think there's a single feature in the game that is less complete than the Fletching table. This thing is literally a skeleton right now. So this thing was added back in 1.14 alongside the other villager workstations, and it has essentially no use at all. The other workstations, like the barrel for example, you can actually use them for things. The Fletching table, you can make a Fletcher villager. That's completely it. I have a small hunch the actual functionality of this table might be tied to one of the updates that we're going to talk about later in this video, but the aesthetics are all arrows, so it's going to have something to do with arrow making. Maybe we'll finally find out this year. Give it up for year 4! Give it up for year number 4, everybody! In 2018, the first biome chooser vote happened. The results were the taiga biome. The taiga biome got updated in 1.14. Here we are in 1.18. The other biomes, they didn't exactly get updated yet. The first one that we're going to talk about has 3 new features coming to the game. Maybe they'll make it to the game this year. The Savannah biome. Whenever the Savannah biome finally gets its update, a brand new tree type will make it into the game, the baobab tree. To me, the baobab tree looks like you cross an acacia tree with a dark oak tree. There you go, you have the baobab tree. Also in the Savannah update, ostriches. Look at this boy right here with a head in the sand. It's a literal ostrich with its head in the sand. And now, other than head in the sand, what else does it do? Well, termites. Not like that though. Termites will also come to the game in 1.19. Maybe the ostrich will eat the termites or something. Termites eat wood, which could be terrible. Since their reveal, I've always wondered how the developers will actually make the termite work. Like, will termites maybe be able to like strip wood or something because they're like eating through the wood or something, or what? From the reveal video, it looked like they will live in mounds too. And then yeah, eating wood. A pretty interesting sounding functionality in my opinion, and depending on how they implement it, may be useful too. There was a moment in time where I kind of thought that maybe the developers would update 1.18 and like 1.18.1, 1.18.2, maybe, at least on Java Edition, and add this next feature to the game. Doesn't look like that's ever going to happen now actually, so maybe in 2022. The bundle. Now it's not confirmed if the bundle is actually going to be in 1.19 or not. The developers made it seem like it actually won't be in 1.19, but I mean you never know. Hopefully the bundle can make it to the game in 2022 because with the whole terrain update in 1.18, especially with all of the updates that they added to the underground, the inventory gets filled up. It's a problem that has always existed in the game. The bundle is the perfect early to mid-game solution to the inventory getting filled up stuff. Bundles making it into the game with a recipe that is accessible enough. The perfect combination. We would love to see it. Crawling. Crawling is a thing that has been on Java Edition for a really long time now at this point. I think it made it into the game in 1.14. Crawling animation? Yeah, that's funny. There is no crawling animation. It's literally just the swimming animation. I believe one of the developers mentioned at some point that this is just a placeholder. The crawling animation should not be a swimming animation at all. Definitely not. One of the first things that came to my mind after seeing that top tier frog animation in the frog beta was the crawling animation. That frog animation is so smooth and perfect. The crawling animation, it doesn't even exist. Crawling is another one of those things that has been in the game for years now, is definitely going to stay in the game, and it's just unfinished. A crawling animation is long overdue. Things are great right now, like they're good. I'm still not used to the new terrain. It still amazes me. Like walking around and just looking at this stuff, easy satisfaction. It just looks really, really good. But things could always be better, for sure. Back in summer 2021, when 1.18 was an experimental snapshots, an experimental change happened that was amazing. This change had to be postponed due to lack of time. It had to do with the Elytra. The Elytra was getting buffed, rockets were getting nerfed. Rockets would actually boost you a little bit less, but the Elytra would not take durability damage when gliding. So right now, while I'm gliding, I'm really not doing anything, but the Elytra is actually taking durability damage. Like you see that? The bar is going down. That's how it's always been, and it's sad. It's a huge limiting factor to the Elytra. It's my opinion that because of how this durability damage system works, pair it with the fact that you need phantom membrane to actually repair this stuff, you're discouraged from actually using the Elytra before you have enchantments on them. That's not good. You should be able to use an item without enchantments. The Elytra buffs that were trialed in 1.18 were absolutely amazing, and I think really solved a lot of the problems with the Elytra. I believe it was Henrik, one of Minecraft's developers, who stated that the Elytra changes that were experimented in 1.18 will be looked at a future date, when there's a little bit more time. To be honest, I was shocked when this Parity update made it into the Frog beta. I thought it was a lost cause at this point. I kind of thought this just would never come to the game. It's been so long, but the globe banner pattern, they've done it. Bedrock Edition has finally done it. They have the globe banner pattern. 2022 will most likely bring even more Parity updates to the game. Whether it's on Java, whether it's on Bedrock, doesn't make a difference. One of the biggest ones that I really think needs to be prioritized, though, is this thing right here. Java players have had it for a long time. Bedrock needs it, like, desperately. Banner marking on a map, it's so nice, and it's never made sense. Like, Bedrock is definitely set up for multiplayer. It's way easier to play with people on Bedrock Edition. And this whole banner thing, I mean, it's cool in single player and it's useful, but potentially even more useful on multiplayer, where you could actually mark locations on a map for a bunch of people. 100% 2022, no matter how many major Minecraft updates there are, and no matter what their themes actually end up being, those updates will contain more minor parity fixes. Hopefully the parity fixes are some of the more significant ones, like that banner thing. That would be amazing. Give it up for year 3. Give it up for year 3, everybody. This time, it's not that bad. In 2019, there was another biome chooser fan vote. The mountain biome won. Thankfully, in hindsight, we got an amazing update. The Badlands biome is another biome that is due for an update. In the Badlands update, 3 new features come to the Badlands, at least. First, the tumbleweed. It's next to Jeb right there. Look at that thing. That thing is massive. What does it do? It rolls around. To be honest, I'm not sure at all what the tumbleweed is actually for. Maybe atmosphere. Next up, the center, right there, that thing. So nice looking. The prickly pear cactus. So the prickly pear cactus is a brand new type of cactus with those little flowers or fruits on the top. Maybe it's a brand new food source. Maybe it's just a brand new type of cactus that's a decoration. No matter what, I love the shape of it. It looks so cool. And finally, last but not least, in the background you can see the silhouettes. Eventually will make a grand entrance right there. The vulture. The vulture will also be coming to the game as part of the Badlands update. The vulture is one of the things that I'm really excited for because it's a bird. There aren't very many birds in Minecraft, like, at all, really. And birds are cool. They're like literally nowadays dinosaurs. They're awesome. The mechanics side of the vulture also sound pretty cool too. So let's say I'm me and I'm inside of a Badlands biome right now, and then I drop this thing, then a vulture sees it. It's going to fly over, circle around, and then eventually pick this thing up, and then I think just fly around with it in the sky. So it's going to basically like steal things from the ground, which is a really interesting mechanic. Does that mean we have to shoot the vulture though? Huh. We were just talking about parity differences, but not the biggest parity difference of them all. Now it's time for that. Combat. Combat is an entirely different system on Java and Bedrock. On Bedrock, you can spam combat. On Java, it's timed-based combat. The combat revamp. Combat revamp was a thing before the Caves and Cliffs update. Combat update should be a thing sometime after the Caves and Cliffs update. Now this combat update is going to include a lot of nice changes. It's going to make combat the same on Bedrock and Java, which is good. It's also going to make some changes to axe durability. You know, if you take something out with an axe, your axe actually will take a little bit more durability damage. It's not good. That will be solved in the combat revamp, at least hopefully. There will also be a new enchantment, at least one, the chopping enchantment. It's an axe enchantment. In the combat revamp, we've got shield updates, we've got timing updates, we've got reach updates, we've got tons of combat related updates. I've been considering doing a video taking a look at the most recent combat snapshot that was, oh well, a really long time ago at this point. If you like the sounds of that, definitely let me know down below. Maybe we could do a video recapping them, seeing if our opinions have changed on some of their features at all. A combat revamp, it's another one of those things that is long overdue. If we're going to talk about biomes that are in Minecraft right now that not only deserve an update but need an update, I think the desert is at the top of that list. The desert is by far the most boring biome in the entire game. I mean, it's all literally sand, cactus, and dead bushes. I don't know, I feel like the desert has been the same for like the longest time, and it's been in the game for like such a long time. The desert update is long overdue. I guess that's like my phrase of the day. Banned from saying it. I can't say it anymore. In 2018, the desert update was revealed. The desert update will have a couple features that, to be honest, in hindsight, seem a little bit random, but they're features. Meerkats, palm trees, oasis. So the oasis, we'll start there. The desert oasis, to me, seems like it could be a brand new type of biome. Maybe it's a sub-biome within the desert, like it will only generate when there's a desert biome. I'm not too sure. Considering what an oasis is in real life, it's essentially a small puddle, a small cradle of life, surrounded by a desolate wasteland that is the desert. By the oasis, I would imagine the palm trees will actually generate. Random palm trees all over the desert. Random for sure, but palm trees. It's a new type of tree. And then meerkats. I could definitely see meerkats running all over the place inside of the desert. Another thing that I've thought about, though, since the reveal video, is the meerkat and fish. So if the meerkat eats fish, and maybe I'm looking into this too much, but if it eats fish and it lives in the desert, like not the oasis, but like the desert, where are the fish in the desert? Like, these things would literally starve if you did not go to the desert and bring the fish there. Unless they just live at the oasis. Bedrock Edition's UI. It's a thing that's been being worked on for, I think, like, at least a year at this point. So here we are on sweet, sweet Bedrock Edition. The UI is basically everything that you interact with. So, like, these buttons on the menu right here could be your menu in-game. Just, things that you interact with. At some point in here, there was at least a partial UI update. I can't exactly remember how to actually get back to it. Maybe it was like literally just taken out of the game. I thought it was in the dressing room or something. But there was a partial UI update. It seems like it's gone though. Bedrock's menu system is a little out of date and sometimes a little unintuitive. It could use an update. That's the point of the update. This new UI has been being worked on for a little while, and from what we've seen of it, screenshots, whatever was in the beta before that I can't find now, it seems pretty clean. I don't know if it's weird or not to be excited for a menu update on a version of the game that I don't really play that much, but I'm like oddly excited for a menu update on a version of the game that I don't play that much. I don't know why, but I am. At this point, every single time I bring it up, I think I lose a few brain cells. It's painful. This is really painful to talk about. Archaeology. Archaeology has a lot of updates inside of it. There's a brush. There's brand new structures. There's the pot shards. There's the giant pots. There's so much to the archaeology system. It could be its whole own update. And maybe, hopefully, please, in 2022, I'm literally begging, please, in this next year, this could be an update of its own. It was so cool looking. The system was revolutionary, unlike anything in the game at all. It could have been so cool, and it's painful to talk about this stuff anymore. Archaeology. I must move on, but archaeology, if you haven't heard of it, like, just look into it. Check it out. It's very, very cool. Archaeology. This hurts. This hurts a lot. Why would this happen? Jokes, memes aside, the first job that I ever wanted to be was a paleontologist. Dig up dinosaur bones. Sounds pretty cool. Archaeology. Closest thing that we could get to it in Minecraft, kind of, essentially. I would have loved archaeology. I would love to see a return of this stuff. Like, please. So this next feature that we're going to talk about is another one of those features that could have been in 1.18, but then actually just ended up not being in 1.18. There wasn't time to work on the balancing. In 1.18 snapshot phase, at one point, drowned were the only type of zombie that would be able to spawn inside of the Dripstone caves biome. They would only spawn inside of the aquifers, and yeah, like I said, only type of zombie, so no normal green one. It was a really interesting change in concept. I mean, no zombies at all inside of a biome unless they're water zombies. Could have been really cool. This update was added in one snapshot and then reverted in the next one, partially at least. The drowned will still spawn inside of aquifers inside of the Dripstone caves biome, but also normal zombies can spawn there too. I think this next statement was also from Henrik. Henrik stated that the developers would like to take a look at custom mob spawning inside of different biomes a little bit more when there's more time for balancing. I think it's something that could potentially add a lot to each biome by really changing, like, almost nothing at all. Imagine a birch forest biome that maybe can only spawn skeletons. It's going to make the biome a little bit more dangerous because more skeletons are going to spawn there, no zombies instead. Also, it will change how mob farming works. You're going to need to find certain biomes where all mobs can spawn to actually create those mob farms. Could be really, really cool to see, and considering the fact that there are at least 2 new biomes coming to the game next year that we already know about, might be the perfect time to look at things like this. In hindsight, the situation is kind of just like the glare, like we didn't even really give it a chance at all. So we will call it Yellow Cow, for lack of a better name. The Yellow Cow, the Moo Bloom right here. Maybe wouldn't have added very much to the game, but absolutely adorable. The reality that I believe we were intended to have was this one, the Isolager. 2020 mob vote mobs. The Isolager was like the best one. There's a lot to it, really complex looking pillager mob, lives inside of the mountains, making them more interesting, throws ice, could be powder snow nowadays, would have been really cool. Check out this tweet from Agnes. Maybe I saw this tweet before, maybe I didn't, I can't really remember, but this tweet from Agnes, this is really interesting. Agnes is basically saying, if the mob adds something to the game, then it could come to the game. If it doesn't really add anything, then it probably won't make it into the game. The ideas aren't completely thrown away. The ideas are still on the table, potentially, if they add something to the game. Add something to the game is the big part. The mountains, all of the mountains that were added in 1.18, specifically the frozen peaks, the jagged peaks in specific, add something to the peaks biome. Isolager, definitely, absolutely would add something to the peaks biome. The Meadow biome, maxed out on peaceful vibes, flowers all over the place, you know? Moo Bloom, yeah, would definitely fit in perfectly. I guess it's me just being wishful hopeful here, but those two updates could definitely add a lot to the mountains. But moving on to the next one, in 1.18, when the Meadow biome made it into the game, villages also made it into the Meadow biome. The thing with this is, they're the Plains biome village, so every single village that is in the game has a unique style for whatever biome it's in. The taiga biome, the snowy biomes, the Plains biome. The Meadow, however, just reuses an old village. That's an unfinished feature. That's not good, and it doesn't really make sense if you think about it. Meadow biome needs a brand new type of village. If this year the developers are going to begin improving biomes that are already in the game, like they are with the swamp, then the Meadow biome. It's a big issue with it, and it needs to be fixed. Let's talk about mountains, specifically things related to the mountains for one more second. The goat. The goat was added to the game in 1.17. It spawns in the mountains in 1.18. In the 1.17 and 18 betas, the goat horn existed. The goat horn makes a raid noise, definitely a placeholder. The goat horn is not in the game right now at all. On Bedrock Edition, the goat horn is locked behind the wild update beta toggle. Will it actually be in 1.19? It's not clear. It might be, it might not be. If we're talking about features that have been mentioned somewhere by the developers as potential 2022 features, I think it would only make sense to talk about a feature that is literally partially in the game already. The goat horn. The mechanics behind actually getting one of these things are also figured out too with the goat ramming stuff. They're like basically ready to go. Kojo Max, I will not forget this. I'm not dropping it or letting it go until it becomes reality. The Illusioner. The Illusioner is currently in the game. This is what the thing looks like. You can get it by using a command. You have to summon it in. It's not used currently. I believe it was Kojo Max that mentioned Illusioners fitting into raids. Yes, they definitely would fit into raids. It would make them more unique. Maybe instead of the Evoker in the raid, you have the Illusioner. Makes it a little bit different, you know? And look at that robe. That's a really clean robe. The Illusioner is practically the hype beast, the unused, sad hype beast of all of the types of villagers. The Illusioner fitting into raids somehow does two things. It actually uses the Illusioner that is already in the game, and it makes raids a little bit more unique. For this entire video, we haven't gone off of assumptions. We've gone off of things that the developers have actually said somewhere at some point, or things that just logically make sense, like the Meadow Villager thing. This next one is a little bit of an assumption, a hunch of sorts, but I can't make this video without talking about it. I'm so sorry. I just can't let it go. I really can't let it go at all. Azalea wood. So we will call it the Great Minecraft Live Incident of 2021.
And of course, where there's a new tree, there must be a new wood type. Yes.
Yeah, it's a sad, tragic moment. It seems that a lapse in memory has occurred right here. This stuff right here, it's oak wood. It has always felt like a placeholder to me. Back in some of the, I think it was the 1.17 snapshots at that point, there was mentions of Azalea wood, but then Azalea wood just never made it into the game. Wouldn't surprise me in the slightest at all if Azalea wood was just postponed because of time constraints. There were a lot of time constraints going on with 1.18. Warden was already pushed back. Technically, Azalea wood was never specifically mentioned by the developers like the Warden, so they could have just pushed it back, delayed it, unfortunately canceled it, but no, that's not going to be the reality. They did not cancel it. Definitely not. It's coming this year. 2022 is going to be a big year for Minecraft. There's already a really cool looking update on the way that's going to change a lot. And there are so many features on the to-do list. Out of the ones that we talked about in this video, which one is your favorite and which one is your least favorite? Let me know down below. And here we are right now, me and you. We've reached the end of the video together. Thank you so much for watching the whole thing. This is the portion where I remind you to leave a like, subscribe, check out the links down in the description. They're beautiful. They're very nice looking. Drop a follow on my Twitter, my Instagram, anything that's down there. Check it out if you like it. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye, everyone.